What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. I'm super excited to be back on YouTube. If you've been following my channel, you know that it's been a few months since I posted, and the biggest reason for that is I have been going through chemotherapy for the last 7 months. Now, I've been really excited to share this video with you all and tell you that as of a few weeks ago, I am officially cancer-free, and it has been a wild couple of months, and I appreciate all of the kind messages that I've received from you all. And like I said, I'm really excited to get back to work and back to making YouTube videos. Now, in this video, I wanted to share with you all a little bit of my experience over this past 7 months. And then at the end of the video, I wanted to share with you a couple things that I've learned from this experience, both for my personal life and also my business life and within my agency. And I'm hoping that a few of these things will be helpful for you all as well. So all of this started back in July of last year. I was on a vacation with my family at a place called Bear Lake, and we were having a lot of fun. And about halfway through the trip, I noticed a lump right here on my neck. Now, I initially thought that it was just like a tight muscle. I didn't think too much of it, but as the weeks went on, it started to get bigger and started to be more sore. And I think part of the problem was I continued to rub it and use a massage gun on it because I thought it was a sore muscle. And it wasn't until August that I found out that it was a tumor. And so I went into an urgent care, and they immediately were panicked. And so they sent me over to the radiology clinic, and they took a biopsy. And within just a few days, we found out that it was Hodgkin lymphoma. Now, this news completely rocked our world. I have a small family. It's me and my wife. And then we've got two little ones at the time, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And so this news was really, really tough. We immediately started looking into the best place for me to receive treatment. We decided to go to the Huntsman down in Salt Lake City. And we scheduled an appointment with the doctors down there. We made it down there. And I think it was about a week or two later, once we met with that doctor, we found out that it was stage 4 Hodgkin lymphoma. And after they did the scans, it was literally all over my body. It was my neck, my armpit, my chest, around my lungs, around my stomach. And it looked really bad from the scan. And this really put me into a panic. But as we met with the doctors, they seemed confident that they were going to be able to treat it with 12 treatments of chemotherapy, which would be over a 6-month period. They felt confident that that would be enough to treat and cure me of this cancer. Now, going into chemotherapy, I thought, I'll just be able to continue to work and meet with my team, and I might have to outsource some more things, but overall, I'll just be able to keep my business running. But I grossly underestimated how difficult chemo was going to be on my body, on my mental state, my emotional state. It was really, really difficult. After the first treatment, I immediately felt nauseous, I was exhausted, I was achy, and there were a bunch of other things that kind of came later throughout treatment. A ton of issues with sores in my mouth, sores on my hands, neuropathy, which I didn't really understand what neuropathy was at first, but it prevents you from having good motor skills in your fingers. I'm unable to pinch things. I can't do up a shirt with buttons still. It made it really, really difficult to type on my laptop. Just all of these different things made it incredibly difficult to go about normal life. And after only my second treatment, my hair started to fall out. And so that's why y'all are going to have to get used to looking at this bald head. And as I was setting up this video, I was realizing that my white head kind of blends in with my wall, so I might have to end up painting my wall. I don't know what I'll do, but I lost my hair, and that was really difficult. I started to notice a lot of physical changes. I lost my eyebrows, my facial hair. I was getting really bloated from the drugs that they were giving me at chemotherapy. I obviously was unable to exercise, and so I lost a lot of muscle mass. And I gained a little bit of weight, and it just was difficult throughout the entire process. It was really, really hard. In a lot of ways, it hurt my confidence, and like I mentioned, it was really tough on my mental state. For the first time in my life, I started to feel a lot of depression, and even though I am a person more prone to anxiety, I felt, excuse me, more anxiety than I had ever felt in my life. It was just a really difficult time. And I guess this would probably be a good time to thank my incredible wife who was so patient with me and literally did everything for our family to keep things going, because I was literally out of it for 6 months. After those 6 months of treatment, or those 12 treatments, we had to wait a few more weeks to get my final scans to see if the cancer was gone. And this was obviously a nerve-wracking time. I was enjoying it because I was done with chemo and I was allowing my body some time to recover. But waiting for these last scans was really nerve-wracking. And we finally went into the doctor. We got my last scans, and the doctor came in. We were so nervous, and he broke the good news to us that I was cancer-free. Now, that day was just a whirlwind of emotions. There was a lot of crying. We had still a lot of questions. The way that it works is I'm considered in remission, and they consider it remission for 5 years. And if I stay cancer-free throughout that 5 years, after that, I'm considered cured officially. And so the reason that they do it that way is within that 5-year period, that is the time when you were most, I guess, susceptible to the cancer coming back. And so they'll keep really close eye on me. We'll do more scans. I think we go in every 3 months for the next 5 years. And so that will be good, just to make sure that we're staying on top of it and making sure that the cancer doesn't come back. But overall, that news of finding out that I was cancer-free was the best news I've ever received. We were able to call all of our family and our friends and break the news to everyone. And it had been a really difficult time for my family, for my wife, for my kids. And so it was the best news ever. And I've been excited to kind of break that news here on my channel, because so many of you have been so supportive and so kind. But through this time, there are a lot of things that I learned. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about my priorities. And that is the first thing that I realized during this time, is I had very limited energy, and that's something that I had always taken for granted, right? We always think that we're going to be able to have the energy and be physically capable or mentally capable of working. And as my energy levels were zapped, I chose to spend what little energy I had with my kids and with my wife rather than work, because I wanted to make sure that I was able to take care of them and maintain those relationships, because those are the most important things in my life. And so that's the first thing that I learned, is you can't take for granted your ability to work, and you need to make the necessary preparations just in case things like this happen, right? Because I never expected this to happen. As of right now, I'm 29 years old. I was 28 years old when I was diagnosed. I'm a pretty healthy person. I eat healthy. I exercise daily. I do all the things that I feel like you should do, and yet I still, ended up with cancer. And so you really don't know when these things are going to happen, and so you need to make the necessary preparations to be ready for these things. The first preparation that I was grateful that I had made is I had surrounded myself with incredible people, incredible team members that were able to take a lot of the workload off of me and were able to keep things running within my business. And I'm so grateful for them, and I can't thank them enough. Aside from surrounding myself with a great team, I also set my business up in a way that we weren't so reliant on landing new clients, because obviously during this time I wasn't really able to take a whole lot of sales calls. And even when I could, I really wasn't feeling like myself, and so it was difficult to close those sales calls. And so I set my business up in a way that we offered services on a recurring basis. And so I had this consistent income every month from those clients, and we were able to maintain those clients with my awesome team. And so I'm really grateful for that. And that's something that I encourage you all to do in almost all of my videos on this channel, is to not only offer web design services, but also monthly SEO services and management services and anything like that you can to build up that recurring revenue. Now, the other thing that I learned is you have to prepare for these types of things by having a financial safety net, and so making wise decisions financially. But before all this happened, my agency, I felt like we were at a peak. We were making more money than we ever had before. Things were great. And it was getting really easy to kind of get more lax on our budget as a family and as a business. And I'm grateful that we took the steps to set aside money into an emergency fund. I think we had set up about 9 months worth of reserves just in case, worst case scenario. And so we were easily able to, maintain the business and also have that safety net financially, so we didn't have any worries. And so that's also something that I know for the rest of my life I'll never go without, because when things like this happens, when tragedy strikes, it's always nice to have those safety nets so you can focus on the most important things, which are your family and your health, because without those things, there's really no point in working at all. And so those are the things that I learned through this experience. Again, I appreciate you all for not only watching this video, but supporting me throughout this trial. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, I hope that you will subscribe, because I've got a lot of great content, a lot of great videos coming out soon as I start feeling better. This content is going to revolve around web design and web flow, SEO and offering SEO services, running an agency, freelancing, building a team, everything that I can do to provide value to you in growing your business and finding success. So thanks so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next video.